Hi everyone, and welcome to Apprenticeish, where we talk all about apprentices, apprenticeships, kind of. So this is obviously not my usual background, and thank you so much to the driver who's allowed me to film in his car. But basically, I'm on my way to a bridal brunch, so this is fun, and I thought now was probably like a very apt time to talk about social life when it comes to apprenticeships. Also, really sorry I didn't bring my tripod because I didn't expect to film. I get this question asked quite a lot. What's the social life with apprenticeship? I don't know, maybe it's just me, or maybe other apprentices are also projecting the same thing, that like this apprenticeship is hard work. And I'm not gonna lie, I still need to do a follow-up video based off of the summer school that we had. So they revealed so much information about the SQE, about how the exams are changing, about how they're doing the course. I'm so sorry, so I'm actually in London, in like central London.
On to A3212.
If you hear some noise in the background, that's what that is. But basically, I think I am recognizing or appreciating even more that this course is super hard. It's very I don't know, just not what I expected it to be in terms of intensity and difficulty. I personally feel at this point, like right now, like looking ahead based on like how the course is going to go, etc., I genuinely believe that based on my experience at university, and even speaking to just other people more generally who have been to university and have decided to take the apprenticeship route, I think there's general consensus that like the further you progress into the apprenticeship, the harder it is to do and complete. And I kind of feel like it's harder than university, in my opinion. Like weekly essays, I mean, they're reducing that, thank God, but like still, even up until this point, weekly essays, you know, closed book, all of the exams were closed book. I feel like even the level of knowledge based on like our workload is a lot. So I think that's kind of like where the questions come about, like, you know, I want to relax, I want to chill, like what about social life? So let's talk about it. Honestly, I think in the beginning it was just so much easier to have a social life. I'm gonna be real with you. Like there's no way to hide the fact that the beginning of the apprenticeship is much easier than like the middle / end / qualifying exams because I'm doing a solicitor apprenticeship. Personally, I just feel like if you want to, you would. Like that's actually the reality, and that goes with everything in life. If you want to be just like a full-time apprentice, you don't do anything else outside of work, studying, and having a social life, you can live that life. Like that is completely fine. You don't need to be doing 10,000 projects. You don't need to be working with 10,000 companies. You don't need to set up an Instagram account or a social media platform to spread the word. Like you don't need to do all of that, or like work on like 10,000 different projects. It's not that deep. I think whether or not you have a social life in your apprenticeship, I think you obviously need to recognize that, you know, you actually do need to get work done. You need to make sure that you're understanding that your schedule is not going to be the same as your friends anymore. Like you're on a whole different vibe, a whole different ball game. Like you have a full-time job, probably at the time where a lot of people don't have full-time jobs in your social circle, depending on what age it is that you start the apprenticeship. Obviously different if you have older friends or friends who are like working. Reality is like you cannot come and die. Like this apprenticeship will drag you for filth if you let it. You need to insert appropriate boundaries to allow you to make sure that you have time to like rest and breathe. Say there's constantly work to be doing at all times. Like when I tell you all times, if I didn't go out to this brunch today, I definitely could have done two essays, finished off the summer school work, and at least started like exam prep, for example. However, at what cost? I've literally been doing uni every week for what it feels like the last 2.5 years, but in hindsight, probably at least the last like 7 months. And we are in August now, so that doesn't leave much leeway for breaks and stuff. Sorry that the view is so shaky, but it doesn't really leave much leeway for breaks and rest and all that kind of stuff, because
I have not been doing that.
I've been trying to go to social events more often. This year, much harder, just because A, there's a lot going on in the background, and B, I just feel like the course is more intense and I'm still adjusting to that. When it comes to social life, I'd probably say like the first 2 years I didn't really have a problem. I think it's only now that like as the course increases in intensity, I need to, if I don't set myself like boundaries and consequences, then things won't get done. So this is a perfect example. I had every intention of going out tomorrow afternoon and going out to eat, you know, having a chin wag with people, having just a good catch up. And I haven't finished my essay that's due on Monday, so either I finish it today and go out tomorrow, or if I don't finish it, then I'm not going out. And like, that's the only way to like live life at this point, because you need to balance your actual interests. Like, this apprenticeship is a huge part of your career. It's, for some people it's very long, not for everyone. Some people only have like 3-year degree apprenticeships or 4-year degree. I think 3 is, maybe 4 years is like the minimum, I don't know. When you're doing a degree level apprenticeship, in order for you to carry it through and to live in a way that's healthy, you need to implement appropriate boundaries and appropriate consequences if those boundaries aren't respected. I do think like it's a growing journey. Even me, I'm still adjusting to what is appropriate for my level and my intensity of work and my goals. Like, I think if I didn't want to get a first, I probably could be doing a lot less, but I do. If you're a full-time student, you literally go to socials, like everything's there. Pew, 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 it's fun, you know. Even if it's like a social club, it's just so much more accessible, in my opinion. Whereas like when you're an apprentice, there's not that general community that's there. Like, see, when you go to uni, full-time only, full-time uni student, you can go and there's students everywhere. When you're an apprentice, there's nowhere for you to go and there's loads of apprentices. Like, you need to organize a meetup, or you need to actively find socials. So as I said in the last video, the Big Apprentice meetup, I know, I don't even know if I can announce it, but I know that another company is like trying to arrange something. There's a lot more active effort on your part, even like work socials. Like, it's up to you basically. Your apprenticeship kind of like encourages you and pushes you into adulthood a lot quicker than, in my opinion, uni does, unless obviously you're living out. And even then, like, there's just different things that you learn whilst you're an apprentice that you don't get to learn whilst you're a student. I think it is also different. Like, my experience as an apprentice is very different because I've lived away from home, so I don't live with my family. Whereas like other apprentices who do live with their family, obviously it's a whole different experience. And like, on the point of interacting with families, I feel like I need to put in a lot of hard work just because I don't live with them. Like, when I wake up and open my eyes, they're not there. When I first moved out, or when I first started the apprenticeship, obviously I can't remember if I was home. I think I was home. Yeah, I was home. No, I moved actually, sorry. So when I started my apprenticeship, I moved house, I got a new job, I dropped out of uni, and something else happened as well. Like, I think my friendship circle was changing as well 3 months before the COVID lockdown. And yeah, it was a very like a huge learning growth for me. I do think just like when it comes to relationships in general, in relation to the apprenticeship and how you manage your social life, it's very, the onus is very on you and your schedule, and like whether or not you want to say yes or no. You have to understand that you still have a 9 to 5. Help your friends and community understand that you can't really, like, at some point in your apprenticeship, you'll have to understand that you can't live the way you used to live. Like, you don't have all of that free time as you were when you're a full-time student, or you don't have the same like energy levels as well. Like, and it's not even an age thing, you know, you grow and change, all that kind of stuff. But it's like the job itself takes so much from you. Studying takes so much out of physical limitations and mental limitations. Like, it's work, it's jobs, it's growing, it's understanding your environment. So I would definitely say when you do start your apprenticeship, your social life can certainly be there. There's no need for you to just live in the office.
Even though sometimes I definitely do that.
But in the same breath, like, there's loads of apprentices that frequently go on holidays. There's loads of apprentices that frequently go out with their friends or work in various locations. Even me, like, I co-work with a lot of people. My work from home days, I like to co-work with different people because that's how, like, I like to spend time with people. So, and that's just my personal preference. Secure location, proper environment. Like, it tends to be my house, my sister's house, or a friend's house. Like, everyone has a good space to like study and work and all that kind of stuff. So that's not really a worry. But the point being is that sometimes you need to be a bit more creative with different ways and how you can spend time with people. But I would definitely say, like, don't let go of your network just because you're doing an apprenticeship. I do think that, you know, at some point, if you do choose to live like a very intense study life and work life, and you know what, there are times where work is extremely intense and deadlines are just like trying to murder you with everything in it. I do think that if you choose not to like actually take a break and rest, like even if you're not socializing with everyone, it's really exhausting and strenuous and isolating as well. I remember talking to another apprentice. She was so lovely, absolutely lovely, and we were just talking, and I said, like, I'm super grateful for the fact that I'm one of 10 apprentices at my firm. At the moment we have 10. In the future maybe there'll be more, maybe not, I don't know, but like, I'm super grateful for that, because I literally could have been like the only apprentice in the company. And I think this is where another part of the social aspect comes in. Community is so important whilst you're doing this apprenticeship. Like, it's dangerous even, I think, to do it in isolation. I really encourage everyone who is doing an apprenticeship, who's considering doing an apprenticeship, like, make sure that you're tapped into your community. If you don't have a community like of apprentices at work, then tap into the community like in uni. I'm almost certain, hands down, that there's some kind of group chat with other apprentices in it who are also, you know, all going through the same process. You can all like share your struggles together, maybe meet up. Just making sure that you have a community there, whether it's in work, whether it's outside of work, whether it's in uni, whether it's outside of uni, whether it's like, you know, just time for you to journal. Make sure you're like connected, because I personally found, I mean, obviously I'm just talking from my experience, when I did do my previous apprenticeship and I was the only apprentice and I didn't really engage with the community that was available to me, I felt so isolated, honestly. And even though I was like at work and surrounded by different work people, it's hard because not everyone can actually like understand what it is you're studying, what you're going through, how intense it is, and like what you have to balance and all that kind of stuff. So I do think the social aspect is so necessary, like even for your mental health, from a mental well-being perspective, but also like it's your life, like you actually want to enjoy it. And I think I realized the other day, need to realize that life is still going to go on, and I'm gonna finish this apprenticeship when I'm like 27 or 28, one of the two. That's almost my entire 20s, like just in this apprenticeship at this firm doing this role. And it's not anything that like I'm scared of, but I think it's also just appreciating like this time is going to pass anyway, so I must enjoy it. Like, no one should drag that away from me. You know, life goes on, wahala happens, you know, people, you know, pass away, friends come and go, situations, drama happens, like it's the circle of life. But it's through that process that I must find enjoyment. I have got to enjoy my time doing this apprenticeship, because it's such a significant period of my life. I think your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, even in your 50s, it's such a pivotal part of your life, and it sounds like a super long time, but I think your 20s is like your teenage years, but with more responsibility. And it's still the essence of you trying to understand yourself, how you figure out different situations, what you will and what you won't accept, your boundaries, your friendships, relationships. Like, it's such a pivotal part in a more elevated way. And I think if you don't have that space to, like, I don't know, relax, calm down, engage with people, have different soundboards in a healthy environment, it's actually like detrimental to your health and your development and your growth. So I don't know if I highly doubt that anyone who is an apprentice does not have a social life. That is quite like worrying. And I would honestly encourage you to please tap into community, engage with friends and family, and, you know, connect with people. Like, this time is going to pass anyway. If it was like a 6-month thing or a 1-year thing, then maybe I'd say, like, you know, go intense, do everything you have. Well, you should do that anyway, but like, I think it's okay to go into an intense period of focus, but because it's over a period of years, like, you need to make sure that you're balancing things correctly in a way that's healthy for you. And that might not look like what it looks like for me. It's definitely important to make sure that you include it in a way that's healthy. It's not about you doing so much enjoyment that your studies are suffering. It's just my little rant about social life. I think it would just be quite an isolating experience to know that you're not interacting with anyone but work and yourself. And I think there are periods and times for that, but as a whole, it's extremely healthy to tap into a community, whether it's apprentices, friends, etc. So whatever that looks like for you, do that.